if you somehow cannot find a job for whatever reason, you have a bachelor's degree, you want to make some money now, quick money now while you're applying to other jobs, but if you work at, let's say, a retail place, you got to actually pay attention to do your job. You work at a food place, you don't really got much downtime to just be on your phone and apply to jobs. I highly recommend becoming a substitute teacher because of that fact. If you're willing to endure some of the stuff that kind of sucks with that job. But other than that, I would say for the most part, when it comes to subbing, you can really decide how hard or easy you want that shit to be. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, yeah, it kind of depends on if there's a kid or two in there that's just an absolute troll and just wants to like make your day a complete living hell, like just for the fun of it. Like they seem to enjoy that. I don't even know. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I've been seeing these crazy like AI videos of teachers with like Epstein. All that's its own thing. But anyways, today I did want to look at this video right here. It is by Mr. Bonds. He's trying substitute teaching for 30 days, and I already know, that's a lot of bank he's gonna make considering the amount of work you're gonna see he's gonna have to do. Albeit, I mean, let's see what grade level he's working with, right? So,
I have the laziest job in
okay,
America.
off the bat, laziest job.
This is me at 10 a.m.
Yep.
This is me at 11 a.m.
Okay.
And this is me 10 minutes later. I get
Okay.
paid $250 for work.
Like I said, bro, $250 daily rate just for subbing. And then sometimes you're in situations where you don't even have to stay the entire day and you're still getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. Like I remember I've had like 3, 4 hour shifts only, and then I get paid that full amount, or just depending on the district, however much they take off from that. But I know earlier in this video, right over here, I mean, what, you know, I would say for the most part, I think in every single subbing gig that I've done, I've pretty much been in this scenario right here because of the fact that I sub at high school whenever I did subbing. I would always sub at a high school level. Then again, if you are going to end up subbing at, the
10 a.m.
middle school,
This is me.
elementary school level, like right here, yeah, you're probably going to be in this scenario right there because they actually do expect you to teach and do stuff. So, my word of advice, if you do not want to be a teacher and you're, like I said, you just want to make a quick buck, I would suggest be a sub, do it at a high school level because of the fact that you can do all the other stuff that you need to do. Like I was literally doing college homework, I was literally applying to other jobs and stuff like that while subbing. So it's what I would compare it to, I would pretty much compare that to the equivalent of like being like a security guard at like a graveyard shift, except it's loud and you gotta like make sure people don't rip their heads off. But maybe that's not really relatable. Who cares? All right.
For working
Wow.
around 30 minutes a day.
Yep.
But
Pretty much.
is it the laziest job? Well, I made a lazy job calculator to
Or made a
measure
whole calculator.
exactly
Holy hell.
how lazy a job can actually be.
He probably
This
did.
is the life
Bro, he probably made that calculator while he was doing the job. I'm not even gonna lie with you. That's how lazy that shit can be.
of a substitute teacher.
Okay, cool.
So, I'm a high school substitute teacher.
Oh, high
Which
school.
basically means I babysit teenagers. Here's what my average day
Absolutely.
looks like. At 7:50, I leave the house. I get to school, sign in, and be at my class at 8:15.
Pretty much. I mean, the way that they do the subbing within whenever I did it was they had an app where you would literally just kind of pick up a shift. So even with subbing too, especially if you're somebody that maybe has a lot of things going on or you can't really like work every single day compared to like, if you're gonna work at a certain job or do any sort of things that have like a specific work schedule that you have to follow and then calling off is like an absolute pain. For this job, I'm being so serious, you can literally cancel like an hour before and you won't get penalized. I mean, I'm sure well, probably if you did it like a ton of times, yeah. But at least for me, at a reasonable time, I could just call off instantly. Someone else will pick up the shift, and I mean, yeah, I mean, you could easily just wake up in the morning and then choose a shift you want to do, and then just show up to it, or you could do it in advance or whatever. And yeah, it's the same exact scenario. I mean, for me, it was me waking up in the morning, going in. I would typically pick the shifts that were like didn't have a first period because I didn't have to worry about no traffic, and then I would just go in there and then yeah, just pick up the key and go in the class. This guy's backpack got some apples.
I take 15 minutes to look at the instructions and to make sure that I have the
and you want to know what those instructions are, I can already kind of spell it out for you exactly what's going to be asked. It's going to say, hey, make sure they need to ask if they want to use the restroom. Here's this worksheet. They need to do this and this. That's it. And take the attendance this specific way. And that's it. That's literally every single one of these high school sub plans. I swear to you.
appropriate worksheets. At 8:30, class starts. Hi guys, my name is Mr. Bond.
He's better than me. I don't even write my name. I swear. I don't even think I've ever told a student my name before. I think they just literally just call me sir.
From 8:30 to 8:40, I take roll, read the instructions, and pass out the appropriate worksheets. By 8:40, I'm back on my seat and on my computer.
Wow,
Now this
what a
leads
busy
to the first lazy job test, the fat guy test, which measures how much a fat guy would like my job. And we measure this by seeing how
Wait,
long
this is actually a very good test. But I ain't gonna lie, you're kind of doing fat people wrong with this the whale movie comparison thing. But I'm not gonna lie. Wait, if I actually think about it, I should probably use this test from now on. Life as a sub as a fat person. No, I would say a fat person would like this job, but on the other hand, I would say they would not because of the fact that they would get made fun of by all these kids. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you're chopped, they'll probably take a picture of you. I won't even lie. I literally got a warning from a student when I was subbing. They literally were like, oh, they were so mean to the other sub, like taking pictures of him and like all this stuff and making edits and stuff. I promise you know what I did for the period? Bro, I literally was just behind the computer desk like this, like just like that. Like I didn't even like really show my face, bro, because I was like, bro, I'm not trying to get people to take pictures of me and like make these AI things, bro. Like, yeah, but fat guy thing, if I had to rank that as a test, I would say like out of 10, how much a fat guy would enjoy this job. I'd say like a 5 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, but five for me is average. I think it's like an average enjoy.
you have to be on your feet for the day. This is what I do all day. Nothing. I just sit here and watch the class. As a
Yeah,
sub,
pretty much.
I had to be on my feet for 10 minutes every class. I have around 3 classes per day, so I had to stand for about half an hour in an 8-hour workday for my job. If you put half an hour into the fat guy calculator, you will get a score of 9.3, which means fat guys would really like this job.
Yeah, but like I said before, you need to consider the variable in the fact that getting made fun of. That factor in of itself, like I said, that's gonna minus that by like about 5 or 4 points. So I'm giving that a 5 out of 10.
Then at 10 o'clock, class ends and I have a 10-minute break. At this school, there's something called Flex, where teachers help students in particular areas. But since I'm a sub, I don't have it. So
Oh,
I have a whole hour off. At
yeah, it typically happens with the prep period. You usually just get that off, and then if you have prep period for the very first period, usually a lot of these schools are really chill and they'll let you just come in second period. So it just kind of depends on the area.
11, my next class starts and I have to go back to work. Believe it or not, sitting around and
You have to
doing
go
nothing
back
is
to work.
actually pretty hard work. Sometimes the best part of my day is when students come up to me and ask to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
It
that's
can
true.
get
It's
pretty
pretty hard.
lonely as a sub. And sometimes the worst part of my day is when too many students ask to go to the bathroom
Oh God,
because I know they are ditching class. But
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like I think one time I've had like 6 kids back to back to back to ask to use the restroom, bro. I don't know what like kind of like town hall meeting that they had in the bathroom or whatever, bro. But shoot, man, as long as it wasn't like that devious lick stuff that was happening back like a few years ago.
what am I gonna do? Am I not gonna let them go to the bathroom? That's the tough
That's very true. I'm not gonna lie to you because then I know some people can get just like really stubborn about it, and then there's just some specific case things where I remember one time one of my friends like she had the student that would always like use the restroom and all that stuff and would never come back to class, and then the one time that she decided to put her foot down and say, I'm not letting you do that, girl peed her pants, and then it became like a whole scenario thing, bro. So honestly, like whenever they come up and ask, bro, I just let them, bro. I would just let them, and then I never really got any bad repercussions. I mean, I could just be lucky that nothing ever bad happened, but
decision that I had to make every day. Which leads me to test number 2. the zombie test.
Zombie test.
Since zombies don't have functioning brains, they have a very hard time making decisions.
Yeah.
So, and this test measures how mentally demanding your job is by figuring out how many decisions you have to make per day, with a max of 10 decisions. If you make more than 10 decisions per day, you don't have a lazy job. So, for me, I would say I had to make a
How many decisions would I make before this guy says it? I would say for me personally, let me think about it. I would always think about, okay, how am I going to take the attendance? Usually, I would just pass around a sign-in sheet. So I wouldn't even have to like say out loud the role of attendance, bro. So I'm probably way lazier than this dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but so that's one thing. Attendance. Let's think about it. The other thing that I had to think about was announcing the like whatever stuff they need to do in the class. So that's two. And then let's think about three. What would three be? I'd say three would be obviously whenever they would ask you to use the restroom. I mean that's another decision I gotta think about. Yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest. I think there's only like really three things I needed to worry about ever.
around one decision per day. It's pretty easy. So if I put a 1 in for the zombie
Oh, you
test,
put a
I will
one.
get a lazy score of 9, which means zombies would really like my job. Now, at this point,
Yeah,
you may
I would
love
give it an
being a
eight.
substitute
8 out
teacher,
of 10.
or you might absolutely hate it because it is so darn boring. Well,
Just
here are
bring your
some
homework, bring
honest
a
pros and
book,
cons of being a sub.
watch a show.
The first major downside to being a sub is that there's no career advancement.
Yeah, no, I
This
agree.
is it.
Absolutely.
Next step.
Yeah, there's zero career fuck, there's nothing. I mean, unless of course you want to be a teacher, then yes, of course. I mean, you're pretty much getting to see like the principals. You're going to see the administration every single day. You're going to see other teachers every single day. You're going to become like more familiar, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, wait, it's that dude again. Hey, how are you?" And then maybe some other teachers would be like, "Hey, this other teacher, she's about to retire. She gonna clock you. She's gonna hang up the jersey, bro. Like you should let me tell you ahead of time so that way you know." Yeah. So other than that, I mean, if you don't want to be a teacher, then yeah, I mean, they're, they're, yeah, like nothing.
Would be to be a teacher, and that's for people who don't mind working hard and being poor. The second downside is that you have to find your own job during the summer months because all the kids are out of school. And then the biggest downside of
Yes.
them all is that girls don't want to date substitute teachers.
The f-
It's a sad fact, but it's true. This is why most substitute teachers are single. However, the biggest pro to being a substitute teacher is
yeah, I know. I mean, okay, look, like I said, my recommendation to be a sub, bro, is do it like very early on, like maybe like for like a year or two after you graduate college, and like I said, while you're like trying to find a job or something like that, or like you're just I don't even know, like maybe you're in a master's program and stuff like that, so then you can do this on the side, and then also like when you're in like that retirement age too. That's when I also recommend it as well, like subbing and all that stuff. Because yeah, I mean, don't I mean obviously do not make this like your full on career like from like age 20 all the way to 40 like for 20 straight years. Don't do that. I mean that's just dumb at the end of the day.
that they have the freedom to do whatever they want,
Yeah, I agree.
including not having sex. Substitute teachers get to choose the days that they want to work. They don't have to bring work home with them, and they can do what they want during.
You know what's funny? This is the complete opposite of teaching. Like, isn't that kind of crazy? Like, you're just a substitute teacher, and then you literally don't have to do any of this extra BS, bro. Flexible work schedule. Do you get that as a teacher? Nah, I don't get that as a teacher at all. You got to go in Monday through Friday. Let's see. No extra work. I mean, teacher, what? You're just grading everything. You're also responding to parent emails, administration emails. You're going to administration meetings. You're going to parent meetings. You're answering student emails. Let's see. You're grading tests. You're making lesson plans. You're making homework. You're making projects. You're buying school supplies. You're going out, spending a Saturday, seeing if you can get this. You're doing your research to go on teachers, pay teachers to go get a worksheet, and then what? Do quiet work during class. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be so for real with you. Just bring your homework. Just whatever you got to do, just do it.
During the class. For me, I'm a substitute teacher because it allows me to pursue my dream of being a famous YouTuber with a lot of money. For millennials who are still
I mean,
soul
you're at
searching for what
40K,
they
so I
want to
mean,
do,
you're doing pretty good.
or if you are just
I got like
unemployed,
4.
subbing provides you with the basic amount of money that you need to survive until you can make it. I may never
Yeah, until you make it, basically.
Never make it as a YouTuber, and I may never make my parents proud, but I can make
Oh, what the hell?
videos as a sub, and that makes me happy. Most days, though, I would get home anywhere from 3:30 to 4 at the latest. However, I would just like to clarify that this is only for high school substitute
Yeah,
teachers.
only for high
Elementary
school
and middle
subs.
school substitute teachers actually have to teach, which
Yep,
is not worth the money.
not
Which
worth it at
brings
all.
me to the last test of the lazy job calculator, which is the in law test. The in law test measures how much your in laws would like your job. So, in other words,
Okay,
how
okay. I think I don't even need to watch that, bro. I don't care about all that. Let's see his paycheck.
two, I worked a total of 18 out of 21 possible
God
school
damn.
days, which means I made $4,500 in
God damn. But you got to factor in the fact that they don't work in December pretty much. So that's pretty much a month winter break. And then summer 3 months. So that's 4 months. So that's eight. So eight taking toward 32. Eight times five extra 4K, 32, 36. It's like about 38,000 a year, which is better than, like I said, fast food, retail, all that stuff.
that month. After taxes and deductions, I am left
Ah,
with
okay. I didn't calculate all that stuff.
$3,760. Now, that may seem like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money.
No, it's not in
But you need to
California, but
understand that all school districts have a total of 180 school days, which means that the max that I can make out of any school year is
okay. So I was
$45,000
off.
a year.
Cool.
If a
Okay.
person
Whatever.
makes the federal minimum wage of $7.25, they would make $15,000 a year. So
$7.25. Where do you live, bro? What the seven? Where does this guy live? Holy hell, bro! I forgot that some people make like $8 in like certain states, bro. I'm in California, bro. So the minimum wage I think is like 18 or 19 now. But yeah, goddamn, bro. I mean, yeah, that probably is worth it if you work somewhere with that minimum wage.
they would make $15,000 a year. So my salary
This
is
is 2
three
years ago. That was
times the federal minimum wage. If I put $45,000 into the calculator, then I would get a score of 3, with 1 being
yeah, three. I ain't gonna lie, you gotta put that Asian tax, bro. Especially with this Asian tax, bro. I mean, that the 10 should probably be like you probably gotta bump that up to like 250K. I'm not gonna lie to you. Or like doctor money, probably like 300K. Okay, what would I rate? What would I rate it? I would say like for me, 1 out of 10 is again that's just like working at like McDonald's or something. No shame in that, of course, but it's just for his own ranking system. One is McDonald's. I would say I'll put five as teacher, and then 10 is like freaking working at Google or or doctor. I would say that this is like I, I might agree with him actually. I think it is a three. I would give it a three.
$15,000 and
I
10
don't like that
being
rate.
$150,000. Anyone making over $150,000 does not have a lazy job. So, in-laws,
That's not true. I mean, you can just ask all my friends right now that have amazing jobs out of college, and then I quit teaching right after I got my degree. But you know, my come up will be soon, bro. My come up will be soon. Chasing med school, bro. Applying next year to med school, which it will that's not a lazy job. But my friends have lazy jobs.
would not like my job. But that's not really a problem for most subs because they're not married anyways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, okay, okay, I get he's doing this whole ranking thing and all this stuff, but I mean, let's think about the most notable things that he said. He basically said like you're a virgin for life. He said that you're just alone all the time, and then you don't make that much money, and then what? Like your in-laws won't like you or something like that. He's not really doing that good of a job of representing the subbing stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the same time, he's not wrong. Realistic standards, you probably shouldn't do this as like a permanent career to only do this if you're like a retired person and you just want a chill ass job or you don't have to do anything at all. Or if again you just got out of college and like you need a job because the job market is so cooked and you know it's either do this or be a barista at Starbucks. In my opinion, you should probably pick this job to be very frank, like freaking camera. Do this to be very frank with you because of the fact that I mean even with like a resume, I mean I guess you can write this, right? I mean what let's say you want to be a project manager. Oh, well, did you know I managed, all these students? I don't know, bro.
So if you add up all the scores of the lazy job calculator, you would get a score of 21, which means
21.
that being a substitute teacher is pretty lazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
lazy.
there's definitely some room of improvement. Mainly, they should pay me more for doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is almost nothing. But I would like to get more money. So, if you think you might like being a sub, then you should consider applying. School districts are always looking for new subs, and the requirements are pretty easy. For California, all you really need is a bachelor's degree
Yeah.
and to take the CBES. I know that for other states out there, like New Hampshire, you
You
don't
don't have to take the CBES anymore, I believe.
even
Could
need
be
a
wrong.
college degree. You
I
just
forgot
need a
how I
high
even got
school
it.
degree. If you have those qualifications, then everything else is just paperwork. But please keep in mind that the pay can be very different from one school district to another. And the most important thing is that if you have a lazier job than I do, please let me know, because I want it. Thank you very much.
All right, I respect the hustle though, bro. I mean, shit, dude. Like I said before, man, better than working at Starbucks. So do what you will with that. I think one thing that he didn't mention was the fact that in some of these classrooms, they usually will have like maybe an assistant teacher, a paraeducator, any of that kind of sort, where it gets even more lazier because they end up just teaching for you in general, like even the roll call, any of that other lazy stuff, like they literally will do that for you to the point where you're literally just sitting there and doing nothing. I mean, I watched the entirety of season one of Mob Psycho, that anime, like doing this job, bro. So, I mean, that should just kind of show you what you can get away with. And to be honest with you, everything that I'm saying, I'm not really going to get in trouble for because quite literally, you're just being paid to babysit. And yeah, just make sure that no one does anything like devious, bro. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, what I recommend this job, like I said, in the same exact conditions that I kept saying about throughout this whole entire video. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I'll catch y'all later. I'll see you. Peace.